have summoned me. Humph! You are all the same. But perhaps you can be of use to me. I have in my possession the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw, the Dark Elven hero. His deeds are numerous, but he was a false hero. All were performed by Karag Brokar, his orcish friend. It is time this legend was put to rest. Find the last of his bloodline, kill him, and I will grant you the Helm. Look for him in the city where the man-god lives.
That was the voice of Malakath, the Daedric prince of lies, deception, and hypocrisy. When the Nerevarine summons him in Asurdirapal, Malakath speaks about a very interesting item called Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw, which is a prized artifact with a history of conflicted attribution. The helm itself is an engraved skull, which is enchanted to improve the wearer's primary attributes. The helm is attributed to the legendary Dunmer hunter of Valenwood, Oreyn Bearclaw. Oreyn Bearclaw was a respected Dunmer hunter, and a future leader who was one of Valenwood's most legendary heroes. Bosmeri legend claims Oreyn single-handedly defeated Glenwyfanva, the witch serpent of the Elven Wood, forever bringing peace to his clan. Oreyn would go on to accomplish numerous other deeds, but eventually lost his life to the Nahatan flu. His helm stood as a monument of his stature for future generations to remember. Some claim that many of the deeds Oreyn was made famous for were actually done by his orc companion, Karag Brokar. Others state that Karag stole both Oreyn's helm and reputation, and thus both the orcs and the Bosmer have tried to claim it as their own. In 2E 582, the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw was actively searched by Naryu Virian, who was a Dunmer assassin and member of the Morag Tong. Naryu encountered a Bosmer descendant of Oreyn Bearclaw, Gadnuth Oreyn, who sought to aid her and reclaim the helmet for his clan. They deduced that because Karag Brokar is a hero to the Shatul clan, the helm would likely be found in the Bloody Knoll. Upon their arrival, they discovered a bloodbath of Malakath adherents. They learnt that the agent of the Seven Secretives, Mivrina Lothri, is in possession of the helm. On meeting Mivrina, Naryu realized that the helm made her incredibly agile. Naryu used her enchanted amulet to send a gale of wind to launch Lothri to the ceiling, stunning her, and leaving her open to be finished off. Naryu then gave the helm to Gadnuth Oreyn, who presumably returned it to Valenwood. The helm would later be lost for centuries, until 3E 427, when the Nerevarine gained an audience with Malakath at his shrine of Asurdirapal, located in the Sheogorad region of Vardenfell. He tasked the hero with ending Bearclaw's bloodline and undeserved fame. The supposed last descendant of the false elven hero was the Dunmer, Farvin Oreyn. After the Nerevarine killed Farvin, Malakath believed the family line to have ended and rewarded the Nerevarine with the helm. Later that year, the Nerevarine sold the helm to Tarasa Aram, who put it on public display in the Mournhold Museum of Artifacts. After a few years, the helm was brought from Morrowind to Cyrodiil and given to Modron Oreyn, second in command of the Cyrodiilic branch of the Fighters Guild. Modron was another descendant of Oreyn Bearclaw, unknown to Malakath. In 3E 433, after the Blackwood Company was destroyed by the Guild for their treachery, Modron gave the helm to the hero of Quach. Modron believed in the legitimacy of his forebears' achievements, and hoped that the hero of Quach would restore the Oreyn name to glory by wearing the helm of his ancestor. Sometime in the Fourth Era, the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw was recovered by a necromancer who was collecting artifacts of Mannimarco, the Bloodworm Helm, and the Staff of Worms. He recruited a new apprentice named Nara to reanimate a skeleton, and having it reenact the slaying of Glenwyfanva. Nara attempted to slay the necromancer and take the artifacts for her own ends. This would be her downfall, for the apprentice was trapped within the room which had been turned into a puzzle. In 4E 201, the last Dragonborn located the necromancer's lair at Mara's Eye Pond, and completed the puzzles there. Within the necromancer's chambers lay the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw, to which the Dragonborn claimed for themselves. The Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw was a magical artifact that was coveted for millennia by the people of Morrowind. The helm ultimately preserved the legacy of Oreyn Bearclaw.
The first thing I want to talk about is the fact that at the start, Malakath says, "Find the last of his bloodline and kill him, and I will grant you the helm." Look for him in the city where the man-god lives. So this is something I missed when working on this Daedric quest in Morrowind. The journal does not say where to look for the descendant of Oreyn Bearclaw. So I was kind of looking everywhere for this information. But ultimately the clue was in Malakath's last phrase, where he says, look for him in the city where the man-god lives. And the man-god is Vivec, and Vivec city was where he resided. So ultimately I had to go to Vivec city to find clues about the whereabouts of the descendant of Oreyn Bearclaw. This is another example of why Morrowind quest design philosophy is far superior to Oblivion or Skyrim. In Morrowind, there are no quest markers. You as a player will need to piece information together and solve problems. Unfortunately, they don't make games like this anymore. I also wanted to talk about how ESO, or Elder Scrolls Online, adds to the lore of this game. I was just blown away by this character Naryu Virian in ESO. She was featured in the cinematic Morrowind chapter announcement trailer, and apparently she obtains the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw. The fact that we will find this magical helmet in the second era really wants me to play ESO. I'm super excited to see how Morrowind looks back then. In the third era, we acquire the Helm of Oreyn Bearclaw by completing Malakath's Daedric quest in Morrowind and the Fighters Guild quest in Oblivion. One thing I want to talk about is the enchantment on these items, right? So the enchantment of this helm in Morrowind was incredibly powerful. A constant effect, 45 agility 40 points and 45 endurance 40 points on self is incredible. In Oblivion, they nerfed it down for some reason. You had an enchantment of 45 agility 10 points and 45 endurance 10 points. So I wonder why they nerfed this in Oblivion. Did they find it too powerful? Can they play around with lore like this? That doesn't make sense to me. Finally, we see this enchantment in Skyrim at Gallows Hall, which is a necromancer themed creation just north of Mara's Eye Pond, and this was included in the anniversary edition of Skyrim. Now I have no issues with mod creators. Their creations have been recognized and by Bethesda, and they were able to make some money. That's great. I totally appreciate mod creators, but I have an issue with Bethesda about this creation. So we all know that in Skyrim, Bethesda got rid of attributes. Ultimately, attributes were the foundation of how skills worked in all Elder Scrolls games. The issue I have with this creation is the fact that the enchantment was changed to regenerate stamina 20 points and 45 stamina 70 points. The fact that they changed the enchantment of this magical helmet, which was passed on to people for centuries, does not seem to be lore friendly according to me. This is an example of why people criticize lore and friendly creations in Skyrim. I would love to know your thoughts about this creation in Skyrim, and also I would love to know your thoughts about the legend of Oreyn Bearclaw. And I shall see you in the next episode of Lore Explorer. Thank you so much and stay magical.